Before the diamonds, before the fame, before she became the most desired woman on earth, Marilyn Monroe lived a secret life darker than anything Hollywood ever admitted. Because the real Marilyn wasn't a dream, she was a warning. Because behind the smile everyone worshipped, Marilyn was hiding a truth so painful, so shocking, that it was erased from her public story for decades. And what you're about to hear changes everything her fans thought they knew about her. Early life and the hidden pain. Before Marilyn Monroe became a household name, she was Norma Jeane Mortensen, a young girl born into a world of uncertainty. She grew up in foster homes and faced neglect, abandonment, and instability from an early age. Her mother Gladys struggled with mental illness, leaving Marilyn to navigate childhood largely on her own. While the public saw a bright, radiant young woman destined for fame, privately, she was battling feelings of loneliness and insecurity that would follow her throughout her life. These early experiences shaped her emotional world, influencing her relationships, decisions, and ultimately the way she connected or struggled to connect with the people around her. And this was only the beginning, because the deeper you go into Marilyn's life, the darker the truth becomes. But what Marilyn did next is the part of her life almost no one was ever meant to know. She wasn't just reinventing herself, she was running from a life that never loved her back. The transformation into Marilyn Monroe. She wasn't becoming Marilyn Monroe, she was escaping Norma Jeane. Marilyn's transformation was more than a physical makeover, it was a reinvention of identity. When she dyed her hair blonde, changed her name, and adopted the persona of Marilyn Monroe, she wasn't just creating a screen image, she was constructing a version of herself that the world would love. Yet, behind the glitz and glamour, Norma Jeane still existed, often in conflict with her public persona. Fans adored the playful, seductive Marilyn, but few realized the effort it took for her to maintain that facade. She was a woman, constantly performing not just in movies, but in every interaction, hiding insecurities beneath charm, laughter, and charisma. Her intellectual side. Marilyn Monroe is remembered for her beauty, but very few fans knew about her sharp intellect. She was a voracious reader, reportedly possessing a personal library of over 400 books. Her interests ranged from poetry to philosophy, from classic literature to psychology. Marilyn studied acting with discipline, learning lines, and techniques with a dedication that went far beyond her public image as a dumb blonde. She was endlessly curious and had a keen mind, often surprising those who thought they knew her. This intellectual depth was part of the real Marilyn, the side of her that longed to be understood as more than just a glamorous face. Marilyn didn't want to be admired, she wanted desperately to be understood. Struggles with mental health. Despite her fame, Marilyn Monroe struggled with severe mental health issues throughout her life. Anxiety, depression, and self-doubt plagued her privately. She underwent electroconvulsive therapy and faced emotional breakdowns that were hidden from the public eye. These struggles were compounded by the pressures of Hollywood, constant media scrutiny, and the exploitative nature of the film industry. Fans saw a confident, radiant woman, but in reality, Marilyn fought battles within herself that no amount of fame or wealth could solve. Her vulnerability was one of the most human aspects of her secret life. But what came next was the moment her entire world started collapsing in silence. But the part of Marilyn's life the public never understood is what came next. A moment so intense that even her closest friends refused to talk about it publicly. If you're still watching, make sure you subscribe, because what comes next is the part Hollywood never wanted you to hear. This is where the truth stops being glamorous. Complex relationships and heartbreak. Marilyn's personal relationships were as complicated as her public image was glamorous. She married 3 times, first to James Dougherty, then Joe DiMaggio, and finally Arthur Miller, but none of these unions brought lasting happiness. Her romances with other high-profile figures, including actors, musicians, and even rumored political connections, were often fraught with difficulty. The woman who seemed to have it all, beauty, fame, influence, often felt isolated and misunderstood in her intimate relationships. Behind the smiles and red carpet appearances, she craved connection, love, and understanding, but her life was a constant struggle to find stability in a world that demanded she always shine. Marilyn loved deeply, but she was rarely ever loved correctly, and the person who hurt her the most wasn't who the world assumed: the dark side of Hollywood. Marilyn Monroe's secret life was also shaped by the harsh realities of Hollywood. The film industry that made her famous was exploitative, controlling, and often cruel. She faced typecasting, with studios repeatedly pushing her into roles that emphasized her sexuality rather than her talent. She endured unfair treatment, broken contracts, and pressures that tested her emotionally and physically. To Hollywood, Marilyn was a product. To Marilyn, Hollywood became a prison. While audiences adored her performances, the environment she worked in was relentless, leaving her exhausted, anxious, and often feeling undervalued. Marilyn's private battles against Hollywood's expectations were a stark contrast to the glamour and laughter audiences saw on screen. Financial struggles behind the fame. Contrary to popular belief, Marilyn Monroe did not always live a life of financial security. Despite her enormous fame, she struggled with mismanagement, unpaid taxes, and reliance on advisors who sometimes failed her. She earned millions from her films, but her lavish lifestyle, coupled with poor financial guidance, created stress that few fans knew existed. Her journey shows that even the most adored celebrities face practical challenges that fame alone cannot solve. Her secret life included worrying about money, negotiating contracts, and maintaining her independence in a world eager to control her. The pursuit of independence. One of the most remarkable aspects of Marilyn Monroe's hidden life was her desire for autonomy. She fought fiercely for creative control over her work, challenging studio executives, demanding better roles, and even forming her own production company at one point. She wanted to be recognized for her talent, not just her looks, and she invested in her own growth as an actress and a person. This pursuit of independence was courageous but came with significant risks, as she often faced backlash from powerful figures in Hollywood. Fans who only saw her on screen might have thought she had it easy, but her secret life included a constant fight for respect, recognition, and personal freedom. Health struggles and addiction. Marilyn's personal life was also marked by health challenges, including chronic pain and issues stemming from prescription medication. She battled addiction, often using pills to manage stress, insomnia, and emotional pain. These struggles were hidden from fans but contributed to the fragility of her health and emotional stability. Behind the iconic smile and laughter were nights of solitude and struggle, moments of vulnerability that few ever witnessed. Her secret life reminds us that appearances can be deceiving and that even the most glamorous stars may be facing unseen battles. And what happened in the final weeks of her life left more questions than answers. The mystery of her death. Marilyn Monroe's death at the age of 36 remains one of the most talked about mysteries in Hollywood history. Officially ruled as a probable suicide due to a drug overdose, there have been countless theories and speculations surrounding the circumstances of her death. Some suggest foul play, others point to tragic accident, and many simply mourn the loss of a life that seemed to carry endless potential. Her passing cemented her status as a legend, but it also underscores the tragic reality that her secret life, full of struggle, complexity, and pain, was never fully understood by the public. The public persona versus the private woman. The contrast between Marilyn Monroe's public persona and her private life is perhaps the most compelling aspect of her story. The world adored the bubbly, flirtatious, and radiant Marilyn, but the real woman behind the facade was far more intricate. She was intelligent, sensitive, driven, and often deeply lonely. Her secret life involved constant efforts to reconcile the expectations of fame with her own personal desires and struggles. Fans admired a symbol. History remembers a complex, multi-dimensional woman whose humanity extended far beyond the silver screen. Philanthropy and personal kindness. Beyond the struggles, Marilyn Monroe had a side of her life rarely discussed: her compassion and generosity. She donated anonymously to charities, helped struggling colleagues, and cared deeply for those around her. Her kindness was often overshadowed by her fame and public image, but it was a critical part of who she was. Fans who only saw the glamorous persona would never have known the warmth, empathy, and selflessness she extended to those in need, adding yet another layer to the hidden life of the woman we call Marilyn Monroe. Legacy and cultural impact. Marilyn Monroe's secret life only deepens the fascination the world holds for her. She remains an enduring icon, not only for her beauty and talent, but for the complexity of her story. She navigated fame, personal struggle, and societal pressures with courage and vulnerability, leaving behind lessons about identity, resilience, and humanity. Her hidden life, filled with intellect, heartache, creativity, and compassion, ensures that she remains more than just a Hollywood star. She is a symbol of the intricate reality behind fame, and a reminder that the stories we see are often only part of the truth. Marilyn Monroe's life was one of extremes: incredible fame, immense talent, and profound struggle. Behind the smiles, the laughter, and the glimmering lights of Hollywood, she led a secret life filled with pain, intelligence, and depth that her fans never fully understood. Today, we honor not just the legend, but the real woman, the human being who lived, loved, and struggled in ways that made her story timeless. Her life reminds us that icons are human, that glamour often hides complexity, and that the greatest truths are sometimes the ones hidden in plain sight. Marilyn Monroe remains eternal, not just for her beauty, but for her humanity, her courage, and the secrets she carried with grace and resilience. But the most painful truth is this: Marilyn Monroe was never killed by Hollywood. She was swallowed by it. This was fame and fortune where legends rise, fall, and reveal the truths the world never sees. If Marilyn's story shocked you, stay with us, because the next one is even darker, even deeper, and far more unbelievable. Subscribe, you won't want to miss it.